Well, what an interesting day yesterday was, and the day before, or whenever you're watching this. Welcome, my friends, to the show that never ends. And we'll start off by just saying today it's Hobgoblin Day. Hobgoblin Day, that's Hobgoblin Day. So this actually goes here, doesn't it? Bottom right hand side of the screen. Yeah,
if that actually goes bottom right, I'll be very impressed. I'm not convinced it will.
So there we go. That means this isn't a pirate. You're not pirating this. This is real on YouTube. All right. Normally though, they're not full up, and that won't be by the time we finish. So I'll show the one at the end of the program. Shall I? Yeah.
I'm assuming you've got 3 there, not just the one.
3 what?
3 hobgoblins. You haven't just got one sat there.
I'm not telling you how many I've got, mate.
No? Fair
no,
enough.
you'll be able to tell by the end of the program whether I'm on the floor or not.
No, I just thought you might
stop recording.
I just thought you might just quite have enjoyed this weekend. It's been pretty decent.
It's been a good weekend for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not much that could have gone any better, could there, really?
No, Oxford won, but you know, you can't have everything. Can't have everything. Okay, well, let's start with the getting this bit over and done with. Because poor old Kieran has got a tough one today. Well, I don't think he has really. But we'll give it a go, won't we, Kieran? You can't beat last week's. That's for sure.
No, I did pretty well, didn't I?
I think it was 10 out of 10, wasn't it?
It was either 9 or 10, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, here we go then. Your 5 Liverpool questions seems appropriate after.
5.
Yeah. So we don't want nil, do we, on the results?
No,
You've got to get 5, all right?
No, that would be a shame, wouldn't it?
It would. Champions League 2018-19.
The year we won it.
So we'd start with the easy ones. Next week, we'll do a bit further back in time. But here you go. Who did Liverpool finish set? Just a minute. I can't do this. I've got to give time for the...
Oh, yeah.
Now. Okay, there we go. We did fit it in the end. So, sorry, meanwhile, back to who did Liverpool finish second to in the group stage? Now, I can give you the 3 answers that I have, but you see if you can tell me straight off.
It was PSG, I'd imagine.
You're correct. It was PSG.
It was pretty ridiculous that season because really, we shouldn't have got through. We really shouldn't have. We were equal on points with Napoli and beat them on goal difference.
Okay.
They drew of the team that came bottom.
Who were?
Red Star Belgrade.
You're correct because they are the 3 answers I have here.
So, there you go. Yeah.
There you go.
I know what happened the year we won the Champions League. Come on.
Who did Liverpool beat 3-1 on aggregate in the round of 16?
Bayern Munich.
Do I bother looking any of these up?
I don't think you'll need to, mate.
Okay, who did Liverpool beat 6-1 on aggregate in the quarterfinals?
Porto.
Is
this just going to be who Liverpool beat?
Yeah. Who did Liverpool beat 4-3 on aggregate in the semis?
Barcelona. And the final one, I imagine, is Spurs.
No.
Oh.
Where was the final played?
That's a really weird name, doesn't it? The Metropolitano. Atletico Madrid Stadium.
Okay. Yeah, well, we'll give you them then. That was a bit of a doddle, that one, wasn't it? Bit of a doddle there. So, moving on then to the English Premier League. Do you remember the last question?
No, I do not. No. What, from last Sunday? No, I do not remember the question from last Sunday.
So tell me if you've had this question before, because I can't remember. Wayne Rooney was arguing with a referee and went on to score an amazing volley a few seconds later for Manchester United. Oh, they could do with him right now. Which team did he score against?
We haven't had that question, and it's Newcastle.
There's another appropriate chit-chat. And who is the only Welsh player to win the PFA Players Player of the Year award 2 times?
Oh. So I was going to say Giggs, but it's not, is it? It's Bale.
It is Bale.
Yeah.
Okay, which Manchester City player scored a crucial goal from outside the box to secure an important 1-0 victory over Leicester on the 6th of May 2019? This helped City to win the title 6 days later.
Yeah, it was a bit of a heartbreaker, this one. It was Company.
Yeah.
Because that was when Leicester, they got to like the 78th minute or something and were 0-0. And if they drew 0-0, then Liverpool would go on to win the league. And obviously at this point, Liverpool were behind Man City and were 3-0 down to Barcelona. So we thought we were going to end the season with no trophies, despite how great we were. But then we did all right, didn't we?
You did all right, didn't you? Who was the player that crossed the ball for Wayne Rooney's famous overhead kick, which won the Manchester derby in February 2011? The game finished 2-1 to United. The player that assisted Rooney's goal also scored United's first goal of the game.
So I can't tell if it's one of those questions in which it makes me kind of sad, but it was Nani.
You're right, it was.
Yeah. I haven't got any wrong yet, have I?
You're doing awfully well here. You could get another 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another 5.
That'd be the third 5 of the day, as this is Sunday. Yeah. How many times did I love it. How many times did Cristiano Ronaldo win the PFA Players Player of the Year award? Oh,
that's I'm not going to get 10 out of 10 now, am I? That's actually quite tough. He must have won it more than once, but I can't imagine it was 3. I'm going to say 2.
2 is correct. 5.
Hey,
You've got another 5. So
another
that's
5.
2. That's the third 5 of the day. How about that?
Fantastic.
You're happy, yes.
Love to see it. Yeah.
Love to see it. Well, we will give your game. Whoops. We will give Liverpool's game a bit of space yet. We're going to go on to Wycombe, of course, and their big game. Admittedly, we were playing who are now the bottom of the table in Division 1.
Were they?
Yeah, they are now. They've only got 8 points. They're below Doncaster. It was top versus bottom, basically. This was a no-brainer who was going to win this one, except Crewe came to win and Wycombe came to lose was the problem. Not good. Wycombe were not good. And it was a very, very odd game. You can safely say Wycombe did not play well. It was one of those games where just nothing was happening. And their good players weren't playing good. The defence were doing all right. But if you see the highlights, you'll see that Wycombe got away with one. All right, because our friend Mr. Goalkeeper, thank goodness, at least he was having a good game with no mistakes, because he had to pull off about 3 or 4 great saves. And admittedly, he did let one in, but, well, it wasn't his fault. I mean, there's no way he was going to save that. But he did make 3 saves during the game that were good. But it never went Wycombe's way. It was never Crewe on top, Crewe with the ball, Wycombe doing their norm. This was where Crewe shared the ball with Wycombe, and that's not really Wycombe's style. And they sort of get a bit confused what to do with it other than give it away. And I mean, when it went to 1-1, you have to say they deserved it. You have to say it was coming, and everybody knew it was coming. And all I can say is Wycombe did their normal, and that is Wycombe play to the end. And you could see the cars in the car park up on the hill all start lining up ready to leave. And you think, you Wallace, how many times do Wycombe score in the 95th minute? In this game, though, there was something a bit odd in that it was supposed to be 5 minutes extra time, and it was the 97th minute that Wycombe scored. Mentioned this yesterday. They went balmy because there were minutes added to the extra minutes and blame the ref. But the fact is, they wasted time in those extra 5 minutes, and the ref added it on. I mean, what do you expect the ref to do? Wycombe do that, and we know they do that. And the ref added the right minutes on, and Wycombe scored. And I have to say, the central defender that scored both goals, I mean, a bit lucky with the first one. What's his name?
Tafazoli.
Right, Tafazoli. The first one he was a bit lucky with, as in the ball sort of came off of him as a shot. And
yeah, the highlights, I had no idea what has happened. I don't understand that. No, I couldn't tell.
No, it just deflected off of his thigh or something, didn't it? Just hit him and went in, and so that was fine. But his second goal in this 97th minute was good, wasn't it? And I have to add, I mean, me and names, we all know how bad I am, but we have to say our friend up front, number 9, it's easier just to give it to Kieran to say. Vokes, he actually sort of created that goal with his running. If you watch what he's doing with that throw-in, he moves quicker than, was it Vokes? No,
I thought Vokes was off at this point.
No, he was off. There was a player, I can't remember who then, if it wasn't Vokes. There was somebody.
You mean who laid it off to Abita to put it in?
Yeah.
It was Gape.
Excellent. I mean, with that summed up, I think, Wycombe, and I have to say Vokes the rest of it as well, in that they all were on top of it, even though they weren't playing well. They didn't stop, and they didn't do a Manchester United and not press. They kept on. They kept putting 100% effort in, even though it wasn't happening. And in the end, it happened. I don't think they're lucky last 5 minutes that Wycombe are forever scoring. That isn't luck. That cannot be luck that we win these games like that. That is going for it. It's belief. It's putting in 110 when you're knackered at the end of the game. Isn't it?
I mean, there's a lot of reasons why it always happens in our favour as opposed to everyone else. Is because we put so many men forwards in the last few minutes that the other team are forced to have to put all of their players back as well. And if they do end up getting the ball, the opposition, they either just put it out for a throw in or another corner, or just give it to the man who stands at the back. There's a definite reason why we always have the ball in these scenarios and always end up finding that last minute winner, as opposed to the other team. Like it, but it does happen an extraordinarily big number of times.
Like you say, we don't seem to ever be defending for those last 10 minutes. We're always attacking in the last 10 minutes, aren't we?
Yeah. I mean, I always like to bring it back to. I always think that the crowds have a big effect on that. Hence why I think we do better with the crowd. And like it sounds really weird, but when they say it as a commentator, they're like, "Oh, the crowd's pretty much drags the ball into the back of the net." But like the motivation that you get from like the scream of the crowds, etc., is massive. And that's obviously not the only reason, because you obviously have to be like defensively and attackingly good in your shape. But yeah, it just always seems to be us. Like how we could count on, we can go into the 20s, the number of times in the last 10 years that we've won in the last minute. Yeah, it's not even an exaggeration. It'd
be interesting to actually look it up sometime. I'll give you that job. It would be interesting to take a look at how often Wycombe lose the game in the last 10 minutes or win the game in the last 10 minutes. That would be fascinating to look at. We certainly must win tons more than we lose in the 10 minutes, that's for sure. There was something that used to tell me, there is a website that tells you the percentage of goals you score when in a game. And Wycombe's percentage is higher at the end of the game than any other time. And it's that we give goals away in the first 10 minutes of the second half is when we let goals in.
I was going to say first 10 minutes of the first half. We tend to, or we have in recent seasons. It's kind of difficult to say it based on this season because we haven't conceded a huge amount.
But that's Wycombe's 8th win at home on the trot.
It does help having a really solid home form, doesn't it? That you can just keep relying on winning and winning at home, and just hopefully build upon that in the away games.
Well, that puts us second with 30 points. And we had a few decent scores for Wycombe, didn't we? Plymouth drew, and they're top of the table with 30 points, having played one more game. Now, Plymouth actually drew with Morecambe, which I think is a bit of a strange one. I would have expected Plymouth to walk through Morecambe, but they didn't. There you go. Because Morecambe are 17th with half those points. They're 15 points. They're sort of they're hovering by 2 points from the drop zone. So I'm a bit surprised by that one, I have to say. But and Portsmouth, I mean, this was an away game, but Portsmouth, if you put the Division 1 table based on home and away, Plymouth would actually be third in the league based on away games. Mind you, that Wycombe are fourth. So, so that was a bit of a surprise and a goodie. Actually, that was good. Wigan, how did Wigan get on? They didn't do too bad either, did they? They won
2-0.
They won 2-0. And then below them, Sunderland. How did Sunderland get? I mean, that was, again, a bit of a surprise and a good one for us. Sunderland lost to Charlton, who are in the bottom three.
And don't have a manager.
Don't have a manager. That's probably bad luck to Sunderland, actually. They probably still wanted their old manager there. I mean, that's something we haven't done actually. I didn't look up how many managers have been sacked. There's been quite a few gone this week, hasn't there?
Well, there has, yeah.
We'll look it up next. We'll look
but...
it up next week. I haven't done all the. I've been out all day, so I haven't done all the sort of what happened on this day stuff. Do that next week. I'll find some good, funny ones. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. They haven't been funny up till now, so with a bit of luck, he will.
Well, that was what I said.
The other sad one was Rotherham B Mk Dons. So Rotherham are still doing all right, but Ipswich won again. Now Ipswich aren't doing bad at the moment, and if we look at how they've been getting on, actually, they haven't lost since the 2nd of October, when they lost 2-1 to Accrington. They've beaten, since then, they beat Gillingham in the EFL trophy, but then they beat Shrewsbury, drew against Cambridge, beat Portsmouth, and now beat Fleetwood. So they're not doing bad, actually. They seem to have improved, rather, which is a bit of a shame. We don't want them.
They are 4 points off the playoffs. And I mean, it's not like their record is too horrendous. It's won 5, drawn 5, and lost 4. And if they go on, if they continue the run they're on at the moment, then they'll find themselves in and around Rotherham and Sunderland's pretty quickly, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Portsmouth, on the other hand, oh dear, oh dear. Their last 4 matches, they've drawn 1, lost 3, and they drew again on Saturday 2-2 against Accrington. So
they've conceded 14 in their last 4 games.
Yeah, they're not doing well at all. Now Wickham, we actually I miss. I think the next 2 home games because they're on Tuesdays. They're home games, so I miss all their home games. I miss them play Portsmouth or Ipswich. I missed the Ipswich game. I miss an Ipswich game and a Burton game, I think. Not sure. Do you know how many points they gave a player of the match, Ryan Tafazoli, for Saturday? Gave him 9.2.
Blimey.
That I've never seen that high before.
You've never seen you must have seen about a 9. Not for Wickham, maybe, but I imagine Salah didn't do too bad today.
Probably not. But Wickham had 21 shots, 16 chances created, 3 big chances. So that tells you they did pretty good, really. They got it. It just didn't quite, but with the pressure, with the push, and with the putting it all in, it happened. And that's Wickham. And I think that is it. And so in the end, did we deserve it? Yes. For that reason, for the Gareth Ainsworth way.
At the end of the day, we're a team that fights like dogs, as opposed to be fantastic at football. Absolutely. It'd be nice if we were fantastic at football, then we'd be in the Premier League by now.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. I want to just touch on one thing about I like looking at football outside of the 4 leagues. And do you know how many tiers there are in the football? Because it used to just be, a couple. Now it's 20. It goes down on that triangle, down from this league to this, goes down 20 places. And in the 16th tier of football, Peterborough Rangers were playing Saltry Reserves. All right. Peterborough Rangers beat Salisbury Reserves 40-0. Okay. How do you score 40 in 90 minutes? Admittedly, sultry reserves had 3 men sent off, but you're scoring a goal every 2 minutes. I mean, that is absolutely, for 90 minutes, you're scoring a goal every 2 minutes. I mean, that's balmy, isn't it? Surely if they just kicked the ball hard enough off the pitch, it would keep the goal down, wouldn't it? Because they'd have to run and get it.
Yeah, I mean, it was somewhat similar situation. It's even weirder that it's on 11-a-side pitch, but I played 5-a-side on Thursday. Our game is 40 minutes long, and we lost 10-8. So that was a goal every 2 minutes, essentially. But obviously, the pitches are about as long as my bedroom, so you can pretty much shoot from anywhere, and you'll score. Whereas this is 11-a-side pitch, and you've still got 8 people on the other team. That is absurd.
You can tell what sort of class this is, though, because the ref was in jeans. He didn't even wear shorts. He was in an ordinary pair of jeans.
Well, and this is part of the official.
Yeah, it's real. Yeah.
Wow.
Incredible, isn't it? How can those? I mean, surely there's some rules in this, isn't there?
You would have thought jeans can't be part of the dress code, can they?
I think that's brilliant. Another one to mention, sort of off the cuff a bit, was Celtic. Now, I believe, are they at home in a UEFA game or a game this week?
They won 2-0 last week.
Yeah, they got a game coming up.
I wouldn't have thought it'd be this week because they normally have.
Is it the week after then? They've got a game at home in the Europa League?
Yeah. I would have thought it's the week after, but I'll have a quickie look.
You have a quickie look, because as far as
it was funny, but
I think it's on the Wednesday.
No, it's not in October.
Yeah, it'd be Wednesday, November. So on November the 3rd, I think.
Apparently on November the 4th, they play Ferran Savasoli away.
Right. Well, they've got a game at home. I know that, or they did have a game at home. Maybe it was the last one they played, where the kickoff was at 3:30 on a Wednesday afternoon.
Really?
And I was thinking, that's a bit dodgy, isn't it? Really?
Mm.
I mean, first of all, admittedly...
Oh, no, it was this week, and it was on Tuesday. They kicked off at 3:30.
Right. Because it struck me that the danger of surely starting a game at 3:30... I mean, aren't all the school kids in Glasgow coming out at that sort of time? I mean, for a big punch-up with the... I mean, that's a bit dangerous having all the school kids out on the roads at the same time the game's kicking off. I would have thought, sort of, but it just seems 3:30 in midweek.
You wonder who would be able to go to the game, to be honest.
I mean,
unless you're unemployed.
Baffles. I mean, I know. I mean, I'm getting fed up a little bit with, gone is the Saturday 3:00 football, but not 3:30 on a Tuesday afternoon. Surely that's a bit...
Well, I'm assuming there must have been a reason for it. It doesn't say in this report that I've got up, unfortunately, but yeah, it does seem a little bit strange. Although in saying that, I've never ever heard of this team that they played. And so there might be some sort of rule that they had. Glasgow's hosting the United Nations COP26 climate conference. Therefore, they had to hold the game at 3:30.
Right.
So because of climate change
meant they had
have
to
the game earlier.
Right. That's interesting. Well, the heat that this game would have sort of, brought on. Sort of.
I imagine it was thrilling at 2-0.
Right. Yeah. And Also, another point was, we were discussing the pint in the bottom right-hand corner.
Mm.
Do you know what they have in Dubai? I actually found this out. They have a cup of tea. Us in China having tea. In Dubai, they actually do have a cup of tea in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
In the pubs, restaurants, or whatever, where it's shown. Yeah. So there you go.
I'd have thought Dubai would be this type of place to have a cocktail or something, not a cup of tea.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Hmm.
Okay, moving on, Kieran. Tell me. Okay, Lukaku didn't play.
No.
And they won 7-0, Chelsea, without Lukaku.
And Werner.
And Lukaku hadn't scored for the 6 previous games he had played. Tell me, do Chelsea need Lukaku?
I think overall he does make them a better team. Because it was Norwich. Let's get that out of the way.
He wasn't playing though.
No, but Norwich are crap.
And Lukaku hadn't scored for the previous 6 games.
No, which is a downfall. Because I mean, think about the the really big games he would have brought in to, really compete. Man City and Liverpool didn't do anything in either of those games. Quite honestly, got pocketed by the centre backs. To say they don't need him, I think, is probably going a bit too far, because he probably just needs to be in a bit better form than he is currently. But I mean, to the structure of the team and how the team, works, no, they don't need him technically, because their teams are evidently, because they still, I mean, it is Norwich, but they still scored 7. And that's really good. Their team still works without him. Maybe not as clinical as they could be, but it still works. IMO.
Do you think he looked good abroad, but actually wasn't that good?
Well, the thing is, I get quite drawn to both sides when it comes to players coming from abroad. I mean, I guess it can happen for anyone going to any club, but if people suggest that you sign this absolute world beater from the German league or the Italian league, a lot of times it doesn't quite work like that, because for some reason the Premier League is just that much of a higher level than the rest of the leagues, in which they don't really compete. I mean, surely we've seen Lukaku play for Everton, in which he was decent, but he was an Everton striker. It's not him being a world beater.
He wasn't brilliant. He was an Everton striker.
Yeah, and then he went to United, and it definitely didn't work out there. So to bring him back for the amount of money they did, was it 95 million, was a bit extreme, considering he had, 1 or 2 decent seasons at Inter. I know Inter won the league, but Juventus were awful, and AC Milan didn't really challenge them towards the end. It may have been worth looking a little bit elsewhere first, as opposed to going straight for Lukaku again, by the way, because Chelsea have had him before, and they've sent him out on loan numerous times before. So it's not like they haven't tried and tested him, because they evidently have. And he still has the problems that he had back when he was playing for Chelsea United, which his first touch was awful, and him holding up the ball he wasn't actually very good at, despite his size and strength. So in some games they will probably need him, and they'll need him for some of his finishing, because his finishing is very good. But I don't think, maybe similarly to Ronaldo, I don't think he makes them that much a better team. I think in other areas Chelsea a much better team than they are front, arguably.
Okay. That just sort of crossed my mind thinking, because when they said Lukaku wouldn't be playing, I thought, well, is it going to make hardly any difference, really? I didn't think it'd make much difference. In fact, I thought very similar to Ronaldo, and we will come on to that. Lukaku actually might cause Chelsea a problem by having him. I wasn't sure, but we can talk about that in a minute. Okay, did you come up with your bearded and unbearded, or would you like a few prods here?
I can do it here and now. That's fine.
Because I've got a few names.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to do a putting 11 versus 11 bearded and against unbearded and taking a look at which team we can put together. It's just a way of talking about different players, isn't it, really? And which one we think would win. So here's my a few names, and you bung in what yours is. Okay. In the bearded, we have Alisson to keep goal.
Yeah, I think that was the one I had in my mind as well. I don't think are we judging this based off footballing ability and their beard?
These ones have got to have a beard. We need a team.
Yeah, but as in like
beards.
Are we saying that how good their beards are?
No. I mean, there's obviously a limit to how poor they are, whether they get in the team. You know, I mean, there's a few that you sort of question whether they even count. You know, a bit like Van Dijk, for instance. I mean, did you count that? I'm not so convinced. Maybe it does. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. So Alisson.
Yeah, I think it has to be, doesn't it?
I mean, he's got a decent amount. He's
got a lot of fuzz down there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And should we go position by position? So we do our non-bearded one now.
Okay, non-bearded. I have to go down to the bottom of my page. Right, there we go then. And
could have Neuer, maybe from Bayern Munich. Don't know. Who would you have? I assume you've written your team down.
Well, I've just gone for the ones in the Premier League, mainly.
Okay, we'll just do.
I have hard enough trouble trying to name them, to be honest.
Yeah.
Edison was clearly, although trouble is I had to think of the people and then take a look at a picture to find out which team they go in, because I can never quite. And of course, Mr. Goalkeeper for Chelsea at the moment,
Mendy, yeah,
he is terrific.
He's getting a lot of plaudits recently, and rightly so. He's been really good.
I mean, he stands out, doesn't he? I mean, those three. I mean, I have to go down as the three best in the Premier League, don't they?
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Edison.
I think when we did our team by position, so we did the team with the goalkeepers, defenders, midfielders, and attackers, and we had to say either like the Man City attack or the Liverpool attack kind of thing. We chose the Aston Villa goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Martinez.
Has he got a beard or not?
He doesn't, no.
Right. Well, shall we put him in then? Or?
We could put him in. I think Mendy at the moment, obviously, is probably a little bit better, but we could put either of them in.
Okay. Okay. So now we come to bearded at the back, the fullbacks. Who you got down for bearded fullbacks?
See, this is where you have to think, do they have a beard? Trent has something, but it's not very good, is it?
No.
It's a bit ropey.
You see, I've got Andy Robertson as.
You're saying he has got a beard?
Yeah.
It's a bit like mine, isn't it? It's a bit like my beard.
He has, hasn't he?
It's not a lot. Yeah, he does. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he'll be the left back.
And Kyle Walker. Oh, this is the other one I put down. couldn't think of anybody else. Every time I thought of, well, he's a bit better than Carl Walker. They never had a beard. This was a difficult one. Right backs.
Not many right backs have a beard, do they? Unfortunately.
So I've got Andy Robertson and Carl Walker as my fullbacks.
You're evidently not happy at that selection either.
Well, Andy Robertson, yeah, he's all right.
Robertson's fine.
Yeah, and I think Walker always worries me. He's always there to make a mistake somehow.
He can give away a penalty at any time, can't he?
Yeah.
For no apparent reason.
Yeah, he can be. Trouble is, I don't think his brain works as fast as his feet.
Not particularly, no.
Do you think that's a fair comment? I think that's a fair comment. It's a bit like me in my mouth. Shall I tell you something really funny?
Oh, no.
I was stood behind the goal, and the linesman, I think it'd be fair to say, made one or two errors in which way the throw-ins went. Okay. Yeah. And I think he got a few wrong. I think he was a bit slow and he was never quite there to make decisions.
Yeah.
And but in the end, they're throw-ins, you know. It's not like the end of the world. He's not giving penalties away or stuff like that. They're throw-ins. No. And there's this bloke standing about 3 people in front of me, effing and blinding at the ref and what he's going to do in putting a petrol bomb through his letterbox for making a mistake. He was going for this poor linesman. I actually felt sorry for him. You could hear him. And I'm a bit over the top. I mean, really, really nasty.
Yeah.
And in my head, the words came. The snag was they came out of my mouth.
Oh, no.
I didn't hear them till I'd said them, which was, I bet your mum's really proud of you. And I actually said it. I bet your mum's really proud of you.
Was it you were standing around? Yeah. Right, so I imagine the people standing around you were just like, why has this person just said that? I'm assuming he didn't hear.
It was him. It was him.
I'm assuming the bloke didn't hear. And you
I
didn't
don't know. I don't know.
I'm
not quite. I don't know. I mean, he didn't come for me, so I presume not.
You didn't get kicked out of the terrace.
That's where things move faster than, you know.
Well, anyway, you're similar to Kyle Walker.
Yeah, yeah. Well, shall we move on then?
We haven't done our non-bearded fullbacks.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying we're moving on.
Oh,
right. Right. Well, we got. Have you got any? Shall I give you a couple of names and you tell me if I'm right or wrong?
Give me a few names.
I've got Tierney and Cancelo.
So I imagine we're omitting Trent because he neither has a beard nor is he unbearded. So he can't be in.
Well, exactly. I mean, he's still a little boy, really, isn't he?
I mean, near enough, yeah. The fact he can grow facial hair is pretty mad.
And I thought I wanted to put different. I wanted to, just not pick all Liverpool and City. So
no, well,
and I thought Tierney looks really good. I like him.
If Tierney plays for, a Man City or a Liverpool or a Chelsea down the line, he will probably be up there as one of the best fullbacks in the league. He probably already is, but it's just because he plays for Arsenal that he quite hasn't made that height yet. So no, I can completely agree with that. And Cancelo has gone under the radar as well. Has been really excellent.
You see, it's funny because I could never have named him before I looked at this. And then I watched sort of Match of the Day and this, that, and I thought, well, he looks good. And I looked him up to find out who he was, etc. And that's how I did this.
Well, he's one of those Man City £50 million fullbacks. You're like, oh, he's pretty good.
Who's he? Yeah. Ask any people out there if you heard of, and they'll all say no. I mean the
Man City fullbacks you either hear of are English or in prison at the moment.
What about Lucas? Now, see, I can't pronounce this.
Dina?
Yeah.
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 There's a lot of good left backs in the league. A lot of really good left backs. I don't know if that's just because the left backs look more kind of aesthetically pleasing, because people like a left footer for some reason. I don't really know why.
No, I'm going to go for Tierney in the end because he look.
Yeah.
I mean, in the fact that he doesn't have a beard, he's trying to look clean, and the way he tucks his shirt in as well. I thought that's the clean shaven, tucks the shirt in, sort of, you know.
You can imagine like
good-looking boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brings his teacher an
kind
apple.
of does.
Yeah.
Yeah, more than likely.
Yeah. Yeah. Says
Like,
sir and that sort of thing.
Sir
Yes,
Arteta, can I play in the next game?
Yeah, I bet he does everything right on the training pitch. Doesn't argue, that sort of thing. You can imagine he's a bit, yeah.
I mean, how could you argue with Arteta?
Sure. What?
How could you argue with Arteta?
I don't know, because he's the same though, isn't he? That sort of, you know, I mean, does he use hair dye, do you think?
Oh, probably.
I think so. Okay, moving on. We've got our centre backs. Well, Van Dijk, beard. Yeah, we'll have it.
We'll have to put him in for it. Yeah.
But I mean, there's no argument about him.
No.
Cool. But what about Rodrigo? Is Rodrigo? Yeah, you know, Mr. Chelsea, isn't it?
Rudiger,
sorry. Here we go. This is where all the people to watch this can have a field day with me, aren't they?
Rodrigo, blimey. No, I mean, he's been excellent in the last few months or so, hasn't he? Considering he's kind of got to be one of the more senior centre backs for Chelsea, because they've had Chalobah, Christensen. They obviously have Silva, but he hasn't played a few games here and there. So Rudiger's had to step up, and he's done really well, to be fair to the bloke.
Because he just used to be a thug. He was on there to shove people off a football pitch. But he's actually a good footballer now. I think he's done really well.
Yeah. I mean, obviously Tuchel's done something with him, but yeah, he's really good now.
Yeah. When he wore that he was in with the face mask as well, wasn't it? I mean, you wouldn't want to meet him down the dark alley, would you?
Oh, he's a scary bloke. He's a scary bloke. Yeah.
I wonder how big he is.
If he's anything over like 6'2", then I think you're in trouble. It says 1.9 meters. I don't know what that is in foot, do I? He is 6'2".
Right. I mean, if he hadn't been a footballer, he could have been a sort of bank robber, couldn't he? Especially if he kept the mask, I reckon.
Yeah. He's kind of like Batman, I suppose, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, it's a much better beard than Van Dijk's. Anyway, looks like he's just touched a little bit of glue on here and stuck some hair on there. That's all. Yeah. Okay, so, and who else do we have back there for the other team? Go on, give us a couple of names. I've got a couple, but you go.
Without a beard, Harry Maguire.
Really?
I just wanted to see your
He's
face.
He's got a beard anyway, hasn't he?
No.
Has he not? No. He hadn't even come into my thought process.
I just looked him up. No, I can't imagine he would do.
I wouldn't have him playing for Wickham.
I just wanted to see your reaction.
Would you? I mean, our two
centre backs
or Maguire get lost. I wouldn't have him playing for Wickham. Our two are brilliant. I mean, he's a donkey, isn't he? I mean, the word donkey really
springs to mind.
He really is a donkey, isn't he?
Oh, goodness.
I mean,
yes, yeah.
He is, isn't he? Sorry, I should get angry about Maguire. I'm just annoyed that people think he's any good. Do you know what? I was listening to all the fans phoning up on the radio. I shouldn't have done it. I was getting me tea ready. I shouldn't have done it because they phone up and it's, didn't we do badly? You say, well, what would you like to say? We did badly. Yeah, and what else? We did badly. Well, how would you improve it? Get rid of them. Get rid of who? Well, just them. And you get it, what they, and you think you haven't got a clue. And I think, can I really say I have a clue? And I think maybe a bit more than. But it's the one that phoned up, and I thought this was brilliant. Now I'm gonna have trouble remembering this as well. The Irish Manchester United centre back, Roy Keane.
Centre mid, but yeah.
Roy Keane. The bloke said, so who would you replace Ollie with then? And he said, well, I'd put Roy Keane in the changing room at half time, give him a bloody good kick. I thought, idiot. He's asking him. And the more I thought about that, actually, I thought, what a good idea. They could have actually done with that, couldn't they?
I mean, I suppose one of the things you could say about United, I'm sure we'll get onto it, but they are full of a bunch of wetties, aren't they, man?
They are. Oh, it's shocking, isn't it?
Like Ollie's,
they want to get in a little cuddle and cry, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, Ollie's two kind of assistants are Darren Fletcher and Michael Carrick. They don't scream like fear into you, do they?
No.
I imagine
they probably have a cup of tea in the changing room after. And I like the way they mentioned on the radio how they're out early. They always come out early if you're doing bad. And I think they probably come out early because they're bored and he's got nothing to say. It's probably more like because he doesn't know what to do. Oh, well, you might as well go out now, you know.
It's not like Pogba at the big age of 26 is going to be like, oh, he sent me out early. I better play well.
He's just
definitely did.
Right, here we got. Here's my two. I've got Varane and Silva.
Yeah, that's not a bad two, is it? It's probably about right.
I thought them two would do a good job.
I was trying to think who the Man City centre backs were. Stones doesn't have a beard, but hasn't played a game this season, which is a bit ridiculous. Considering how good he was last season.
No,
Diaz, I think,
there's
is
too many English players not playing, isn't it? I mean,
there's a lot.
The England lineup don't get games.
Well, I mean, you've got Kane in there, suppose you as well. I mean,
well, he doesn't play football, does he?
They lost again today.
I know.
How
many goals?
I know West Ham good.
How many has Salah scored so far?
10.
He's scored
Kane's goal.
10. How many goals has he scored?
In the Premier League, and he's got 10. In all competitions, he's got 15.
So I bet he's really worried of Kane catching him then.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
I'm sure. His biggest rival, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Mate, even flipping Roberto Firmino has more goals than Kane this season. And we associate with Firmino with not scoring.
I know. So that's okay.
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at our midfield. We're going to stick 3 in the midfield, Kieran.
Mm-hmm.
We're playing a 4-3-3, all right?
Nice.
So, bearded. I've got Bernardo Silva.
Yeah.
I don't think you've got a choice but to put him in.
He's been insane this season, hasn't he? Despite the fact he wants to leave in the summer, which is quite interesting.
Yeah.
But he's been probably midfielder of the season so far.
And I've put Bruno Fernandes. He's got a beard in him. He's got a beard. And not just because of that. But I think if he had the right, guy telling him what to do, and if he's in the right setup, then I think he could be. I mean, he does stand out. If he's the one that changes things in that United team. And the other one I put is Fabinho.
I would just like to point out that De Bruyne has a beard.
Yeah,
I have
know
just looked
that.
this up.
I know that. I looked at it, and I'm not sure you can count it. I'm going to let
No?
you. I just think when it's a little bit. I mean, I've got a beard, and I think his is a little bit offensive if you say he's got one. I mean, that's, you know, it looks.
Fair enough.
I mean, everybody says, "Are you sure?" Because it looks a bit puny, doesn't it? I mean, yeah, all right. I'll let you.
Well, the thing is, if you're saying
a bit pathetic, a bit,
if De
I'll
Bruyne's
let
beard,
you off.
if De Bruyne's beard is a bit pathetic, then I imagine you're fuming at Fabinho's.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Did you have a decent shave? Can I ask?
When?
Well, have you? You know, because with your new razor, I mean, this is what this is about, after all.
It was all right.
Yeah,
it was. You could tell it was the cheapest one there, but I mean, I'm not entirely fussed.
My beard stopped growing. I told you this, didn't I? It's slowed down. It's like everything else when you get old. Well, not like everything. I'm going into my sex life, but my nails have slowed down. Sorry, Kieran, I shouldn't say that. My nails.
Keep it in. Keep it in.
Just get banned on YouTube. My nails don't grow so much. My hair on my face doesn't grow so much. My hair up here is falling out. My muscles aren't growing anymore.
Oh, what is that?
Like they ever did. It's funny that things are just slowing down. I mean, I was thinking that when my hair fell out of here, then I was just going to shave the lot off and grow this. It'll take me years to grow this. It's not moving. I haven't had a shave for over a week.
What? So you had the intention of turning into like Gandalf or something?
Yeah.
Just without the hair.
This was coming down here.
Oh, mate, come on.
And that was coming off.
We're better than that, fella. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, you are never, as your son, you are never doing that.
Okay.
Never.
I am. Okay. So that's that. Have you got any other suggestions in there? You said De Bruyne.
Fred has a beard.
Yeah, but
no, I was being sarcastic.
I remember all the fuss United made about we've got to get Fred, that'll change the team, we've got to get Fred, and then he comes and we've got to get rid of Fred.
I suppose the last one you can mention is the UEFA Men's Player of the Year, Jorginho, has a beard, but no idea how he got the UEFA Men's Player of the Year, so it doesn't really matter.
Right. Well, I know we could put him in there. I think, yeah, I'll get that.
No, he's crap.
Oh, all right.
In my opinion.
In the clean shaven, who would you put in the clean shaven?
Because midfielders tend to have beards, don't they? Who do Man City have? Rodri, I suppose.
I've got Rodri written down.
Yeah. United don't, do they? Liverpool have Thiago, but I'm not sure I'd put him in a Premier League 11.
I've got a Chelsea player.
Kante?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah.
And the other one I've got is a Leicester player.
Indeedy? Tielemans. Yeah. That's fair enough. Might be a little bit too defensive, but it's, yeah.
Okay, let's get up to the front then. Now we want 3 bearded forwards. So on the left-hand side, who would you put on the left?
Who has a beard? Grealish? Do you count Grealish as having a beard?
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, I'd have Grealish, potentially. I may have forgotten one. I can't really think. Who did you have?
Zaha.
Bit more outside the box. Yeah, you could have Zaha Grealish.
Yeah, I like him. I always feel a bit sorry for. Mind you, I think he's probably done the right thing. Be a superstar in a slightly smaller team.
Maybe, but I feel like he could have won a trophy. He could go the whole of his career without winning a trophy, and I think that'd just be a bit of a shame.
Mm.
I mean, that's probably just from an outside perspective. Like for him,
but he's bloody rich, isn't he?
For him, he could be completely okay about it, couldn't he?
Yeah.
And if he does leave as a fan favourite at Crystal Palace, then
he'll be a superstar for the rest of his life.
Yeah, I'd say you'd be pretty happy, wouldn't you?
I mean, when he turns up at the age of 70, the crowd will go mad when he just turns up at the ground, you know? He's going to be a superstar.
Yeah. A bit like Benteke.
Yeah.
Not quite.
Yeah. And the obvious right-hand side with a beard, Salah. Yeah, there's no argument there. There's not even any point discussing that. He's got the place, hasn't he? But up front, you see, I made a big error because this is why I looked up at the next one. And I put Lukaku. And then when I looked up about Lukaku, and I sort of looked up Lukaku, I thought, yeah, he's got a beard. Looked up Lukaku, and then I found out he ain't scored for I don't know how long. And I suddenly started realising that actually I don't rate him at all. And I couldn't think of anybody else. So I don't have an actual forward, centre forward with a beard. And I thought, actually, the daft thing is, I'm still not 100% sure because he's not in my clean shaven. The West Ham striker,
Antonio.
Has he got a beard?
He might, you know.
If he had, he should be in there.
He is the second top scorer this season. He does have a beard.
Right. Well, there you go then. Antonio would be mine, and he should have his. It's a shame he's not English, is he?
I think he Jamaica.
Yeah, but I bet he had the choice at some point.
And we chose Kane.
Yeah, we should have got a goal scorer instead.
It is, to be fair, his rise from being a right back to a right winger to a left winger to up to a striker is ridiculous.
Yes,
like fair play to the bloke.
Probably an advantage though in doing all that.
Well, because you get to learn about the different positions.
Well, it also means if you can play across the pitch, when you come back and have to do a bit of pressing and do a bit of tackling, it means he can do it. He doesn't make those ridiculous centre-forward fumbles in the box that give penalties away. Yeah.
Very versatile thing you can say.
So, clean-shaven. Kieran, give me your front three, clean-shaven.
I suppose you kind of have to put Ronaldo in there, do you?
I have, I'm afraid. Yeah. He is a goal scorer. No matter what he's done, he's still a brilliant goal scorer. It's United's fault that they haven't, the team is crap. It's the team, not Ronaldo's fault. He's scored his 6. He's scoring the goals for him.
It was something that Neville and Carragher was saying was like, Ronaldo in his career has never done any pressing. So why are people expecting him to start now? Because that's what a lot of people have been saying. Like, oh, Ronaldo's impressed. But it's like, he's never done it. And we're considering him as one of the best players ever.
Do you know, I can give you a tiny bit of information on that. And that is, maybe I can't now because I think it's gone somewhere else. Hold it 1 second. 1 second, because I know where it is. I have there's so much stuff on here about Manchester United though at the moment. I had I don't think I'm going to find it now. Oh, here we go. I've got it. Now, this might interest you, and that is the forwards. How much pressing they do in a 270 minute. Oh, sorry. So anybody that's played for 270 minutes, 300 minutes, what is their pressing like per 90 minutes? Okay, and they've given it marks on, how much pressure they've put on. And out of the forwards, Zaha comes top with 20. Okay, Jota comes third with 19.8. So this is I won't go into the whole way they've given these figures, but it is going up and holding players, putting your body in front of them. Okay, and of course it's not their job as such, but it does tell you what they do when they're on the pitch. And as you come down, they were talking on the radio about, well, what does Greenwood do? Isn't he the same as Ronaldo? Well, he's not good at this. But see, for instance, Salah does 12.7. But remember, it's not his job. Okay. But some of it is. He is, when United or whenever people are bringing the ball out of their half, Salah goes up to stop them, to slow the game down. Okay. Mane is 10.5. Vardy is 10. And so we come down, and Greenwood is 9.6. And at the bottom of this is Ronaldo with 2.7. The nearest to him, the next one up, is Saint Maximin at 5.2. So the nearest worst one does twice as much.
How mad is that?
And Greenwood, who is really poor, does 4 times as much.
Well, they just don't know how to press, do they? That front 4, front 5.
But Ronaldo is bottom by, and you think Zaha is 20, Ronaldo is 2.7.
Imagine how much. Well, I don't even know if it's like how much fitter Zaha is than Ronaldo, but imagine how much more running Zaha does than Ronaldo.
He's not supposed to. In all fairness, they all know that isn't what he's on the pitch to do.
No.
Okay, so you can't point the finger because they knew what they were getting. The fact that they don't know how to use it.
No.
In fact, they can't use it. That's somebody else's fault. And they said, I love the way they talked about Ferguson looking like he was chewing a wasp.
Oh my word! Yeah, the shape of, or the face of Ferguson was just.
He wanted them to buy him, I might add. He is partly to blame for that United team. He keeps opening his mouth, and it should be nothing to do with him anymore. But he keeps influencing United and who they buy. And that puts pressure on who is on the pitch. Now, just to say, who are your other two?
Son?
Yeah, I've got Son.
On the left. On the right.
Well, I'll put him on the right, but it don't really matter. Maybe he'd be playing on the left now.
Chelsea don't really have wingers.
I'll put Foden.
Yeah. Yeah, probably should. Got another 2 and an assist yesterday, didn't he? So it's fair enough.
He's good, isn't he?
Very good. Very good. It's just a shame he plays for Man City from my point of view.
Yeah. I get that. So, what we got? Bearded. We got Alisson, Walker, Robertson, Van Dijk, Rudiger, Fabinho, Silva, Fernandes, Salah, Zaha, and Mr. West Ham.
Antonio.
On the clean shaven, we got Edison, Tierney, Varane, Silva, Cancelo, Rodri, Kante, Tillemans, Foden, Ronaldo, and Son. Which team would win? What would the score be, Kieran? Don't say a draw.
I'm going to say 2-1 to Bearded 11. I think their midfield is slightly stronger than the non-Bearded 11.
Well, I was going to say 3-2 because I can't see. I think Ronaldo has to score with Son and Foden. Has to score.
Oh, that's a ridiculous front three, isn't it? Yeah.
And he's got to score more than one. I mean, they've got to score more than one. But Salah, Zaha, and Mr. West Ham up there, they've got. I mean, wouldn't that be brilliant to watch these teams? I mean, can they get through those defences as well? I think Walker on the bearded is the dodgy side with Son. Isn't it? I mean, Son against Walker. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't that be entertaining? This game.
We should put it on for charity.
We should.
Shouldn't we?
I'll give them a call. Okay, I'll give them a call. Now I've got tons more to do, but hey, we're not going to do tons more. That's been an hour and 10 minutes so far. So there's only one game to discuss, Kieran.
But yeah.
And that's West Ham again. No, sorry.
Spurs. Mikel Antonio scored the winner.
Antonio. Where do you want to start? I mean, we know all the ridiculous arguments.
Where can you start?
And against we know Man United mistakes, don't we?
Yeah. You
said it wasn't Liverpool, it was United. So the question is, do Manchester United prove you can have the best team but fail? And does that give everybody hope against Newcastle in 5 years' time?
I mean, it'd take something pretty big for Newcastle to get a really big manager, wouldn't it? So potentially, yes. I'm trying to think of other teams through kind of the years who have had an insane team but a really poor manager and therefore have not done very well at all. And I can't think of many, I'll be honest. I think Barcelona may have had one season where they had a ridiculous team and didn't do very well. But, I mean, it was not as bad as this.
United are 7th.
They are.
But they're 8 points behind Chelsea, top. And there's 7 points behind Liverpool. And there's behind them with 14 points is Everton, Leicester and Arsenal. Wolves with 13, Brentford with 12. I mean, they're mid-table.
So, considering Arsenal's start to the season and United's, how are they on equal points?
Well, we know who will be beating who, don't we? Have you seen United's run?
Oh, mate, they could lose all their games, couldn't they?
They've got Tottenham, then they play Atlanta again. Then they've got City, Watford. I mean, look what they did.
Yeah.
What happened there? 5-2, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Then they have Villarreal.
And then Chelsea.
Then Arsenal.
Like, their run of games is... The only thing saving grace for them is that their run over Christmas is kind to them. But how many of the next kind of 6-7 games can you see them winning? Like Spurs, who are not great at the moment, especially.
They're above them. They're above them.
They're above them. Like, how big a game is that one? Like, that's really in the balance. And Spurs are nowhere near what they were. Like, it's absurd how far down United are and how high I thought they would be. The first couple of games of the season, I thought they'll be in with a chance.
Well, didn't you say that it was going to be 4 teams?
Yeah, absolutely.
And they were
That's
one
what
of
we thought.
Chelsea, United, Liverpool, and City.
Yeah, and they are nowhere near. In all fairness to him, I know you don't like him too much, but Neville was always said on Sky Sports that whenever United's come up against a decent team, they will get found out. And flipping heck, I didn't think he'd be that right.
Who was it that watched them during the week when they won, and he was really glum about it on Sky?
What, really happy or really sad?
No, glum. He wasn't happy.
Oh, Scholes?
Scholes, wasn't it? And he kept saying, no, they're going to be found out. They've had it on Saturday. Yeah, but surely you should be happy. They won. I mean, they won. Yeah, but you saw that. They've had it. They've had it. And he was right. Actually, he was right.
No, I mean, all the United's, kind of pundits who have made those sort of accusations, absolutely right, weren't they? By the way, I don't know whether you would have seen this, but look up why Scholes has been in the news recently. I don't even want to say it. It's disgusting. Not like as on like a human rights level kind of thing or anything like that, but it's just like it's disgusting.
But
anyway,
I'm not sure I want to look it up.
No, I don't think you do. I didn't particularly want to see it. But yeah, United are just complete. It's not even difficult to understand why United are all over the place either, is it? Me and you can see it from miles away, and we don't even, know them individually, the players or the manager or whoever. It's a lack of good midfield, good central defensive midfielders, and a lack of players who are willing to do the very basics of defending from the top.
I've got it on here.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Just to say, everybody, it's not anything you can get put in prison for.
No.
I just might add, but it's bleh.
It's disgusting.
He chews his daughter's toenails, right? Oh my God.
And it was his daughter who just posted on Instagram being like, oh, this is true love.
I bet he's pleased about that.
Oh, he'd be fuming.
Dear, oh dear.
But yeah. I what more? I think Pogba on your sofa score ratings and all that I'm not sure he even got one because he gave the ball away for Liverpool's 5th.
And he got then sent off. It was a sending off.
Was a red card. Keita had to go off on a stretcher.
Yeah. Do you know
which is
what that was about in the end?
It didn't look like it was anything broken or anything like that, but with him it's a worrying sign when he goes off because it's never normally just for a week kind of thing.
Yeah, Salah got a 9.8.
Yeah.
So he's as good as Wickham's
tackles only. Yeah.
Pogba got a 5.2. That's a bit high, wasn't it?
That's quite good. That's not
Same
bad.
as Fred.
Wow.
Maguire got a 4.8. De Gea got a 4.5.
That's a bit unfair. I thought De Gea was one of their better players.
Well, was there anything? Did 5-0 have anything to do with Liverpool?
Liverpool were good, but it wasn't like it was a Liverpool that we'd never seen before this season. It was a decent Liverpool. It wasn't incredible though, and United just made it very easy for them to walk through. How disconjugulated or whatever words you could use.
What?
Disconjugulated? Is that a word?
I don't know. I'm not the expert on words,
but
especially foreign ones.
but I'm sure that's the words that United back four would use when they could describe themselves. They were that bad, that bad. And this is the same back four as last season when they didn't have Varane. It was Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, and Shaw. So it wasn't like they were, completely foreign to each other. It literally left me speechless when watching that game. How poor they were.
But they got nobody standing in front of them.
They don't. They are left exposed, aren't they?
Every time. There's nothing in front of them.
I think Ollie has to pick a team if Ollie's still there.
Do you think he will be?
From what I've heard from different people, he will be, because the board don't particularly want to sack him. It's just like Ollie's making it very extremely difficult for them not to sack him.
This was a serious comment on the radio when they were talking to a Manchester United fan. And I'm not kidding. This was a serious comment. And they said, well, who would you get then? And he said, Steve Bruce.
Well, on the basis that he's played for them before and he knows the club, etc.
He'd be a bit of a harder man. Yes. Yes.
Me.
I thought that was brilliant. I thought that was so funny. I thought,
that'll work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, on the plus side, no, there isn't one, is there? No,
not
there isn't one.
No.
But who would they get?
What name has been thrown about? So Conte's available, but he's not particularly a United man. Zidane, but I haven't been personally too convinced by Zidane as a manager. I think he probably would do well, but I'm not sure he could. Thing is, it has to be a manager that can tactically put this team together.
Yeah,
and I don't think there are many out there. I mean, partly because that's down to the squad itself. People are saying, "Oh, United's squad is good enough to win the league." I don't think it is. I really don't.
Do you know who I would pick? I would pick the Leeds manager. I think his time is up at Leeds. He never stays anywhere for longer than 3 years. He's been at Leeds 3 years. It's been the longest he's ever spent at a club. He's always successful in the first couple of years and then leaves. He's never...
This season, he hasn't done too well, has he?
No, he never has a second go at it. He copes with the first and then he's off. And they don't know why it never quite works. It's a sort of whole system where he brings it in and takes it up and then goes. And I think he would be brilliant for Manchester United, for him to come in with his attitude, his discipline, his way of running it, and be there for 2 years, lift it, and then go.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, the word you used there was discipline. And I don't think that the Man United players find it hard enough to get in their team or even train. I can't imagine that Ollie has them doing things that make it difficult for them. Like, how can Fred and McTominay walk into the team every single week despite how much they get exposed every single week? And you want someone who's going to put them under pressure, still likable, but put them under pressure.
Well, he is, isn't he? He's like that.
Bielsa is one of those, isn't he?
Yeah. And all the team, including Ronaldo, would have to look up at him as a manager. It ain't the other way round. You don't look at Ronaldo and think superstar. He wouldn't do that.
It has to be a manager with a big attitude and big personality, doesn't it?
Who knows what he's doing, who has a plan, has a system, and goes for it. But he does, but he also then leaves when he achieves his moment and goes. And they saying that he's been at Leeds longer than he's ever been at a team. Is it time to go? And they reckon he will. It's been a little bit he's got something like about 10 players out, which has caused a real problem for him. And those players will be coming back, and they reckon he'll pick Leeds up again, and it will work. He will get them out of that system, but probably it would then be time for him to go. And I just think this would be a perfect place for him to go. So on that, shall we give that a miss, and we'll say bye-bye? And next week, I do want to talk about, please tell me how to pronounce this. Baloo de... What's it? The top player in the world? Baloo de... go on.
Baloo?
No, it's
Mbappe?
No, the thing where you work out the best.
The Ballon d'Or.
That's it.
Blimey.
Please, everybody, write what they think I'm a... Yeah, don't give me marks out of 10 for my... Yeah, there's 30 players on there.
Yep.
We should take a look.
Mendy from Chelsea, interestingly not on there.
Goalkeepers, very difficult to get on there. We did discuss that, or we can... we'll do that one, shall we? Next week, we'll look at that.
Sounds good.
As a part of our programme. So you take a look at that list and have a clue about those players. A lot of the foreign ones I won't.
No.
Well, they're all foreign, but I'm you know what I mean. Okay.
Foden's on there.
With that, we'll come to an end here, and we'll say goodbye. All Manchester United fans out there, well, tough. Bad luck.
Lucky lads.
Well, and Norwich fans, if it comes to that.
Yeah, but I think they expected it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Okay, right. Kieran, say goodbye.
Bye.
And I'll say...
Goodbye.
Goodbye.